Hi, my name is Charlotte Bates, and I will be presenting the question today, Buddhism, is it an evolution of Hinduism? This is for class Religions 3380, Introductions to Asian Religions at University of Houston, in the semester spring 2021 for Professor Dr. Trang Nguyen. Buddhism and Hinduism are two different religions with roots in India and throughout Asia. Hinduism is a very, very old religion with its actual origins unknown to its current followers. It worships one universal being, Brahman, who projects themselves into many forms, such as Vishnu, Shiva, and the goddess. The form of Brahman worship varies by region, family, and individual, yet each deity worshipped is actually the worship of one god. The religion focuses on dharma, karma, and the search for nirvana. Buddhism, on the other hand, comes later in time and is focused around the life of a human, Siddhartha Gautama, who later becomes known as the Buddha. Born into a royal family, Siddhartha Gautama decides to seek out a life of wandering and finding peace after seeing sickness, age, and death in the world. Eventually achieving nirvana, the Buddhist way of life was followed by others, finding a new way to live and achieve nirvana. Dharma, karma, and nirvana can also be found in Buddhism, but with different meanings to the followers. In this project, I will explore the similarities and differences of the religions and their connected words of dharma, karma, and nirvana. First, I will start off with the origins of Hinduism. Although Hinduism is the world's third most popular practiced religion behind Christianity and Islam, Hinduism's exact origins have been lost to time. As far as is known, Hinduism originated in India around the Indus River in 3000 to 1750 BCE. Hinduism is thought to have been brought to this region by the Aryans, who would go on to have a great influence on the future Indian culture and languages of Sanskrit. Next, the origins of Buddhism. Unlike Hinduism, Buddhism has a very clear birth. It is formed shortly after the death of Siddhartha Gautama, or the Buddha, in 486 BCE by the First Buddhist Council. It was created and followed by the teachings of Siddhartha Gautama and how to follow the lifestyle he chose to live. Buddhism would go on to be influenced by Hindu characteristics because Hinduism was the main religion practiced around the birth of Buddhism. Next, the beliefs of Hinduism. Since Hinduism is such a diverse religion and does not have a set origin or original leader, it does not have a canonized origin story for the universe like most Western religions. Origin stories vary region to region, believer to believer, but it is generally accepted that the universe is something that always has existed and will always exist, and is part of the supreme being Brahman. A common misconception of Hinduism is that it is a polytheistic religion, but in truth, it is practiced with only one supreme being, making it a monotheistic practice. This being is known as Brahman and is a genderless, imageless creation and is beyond human conception. Brahman is not for us to understand and is bigger than us. It is only defined in historic text as truth, knowledge, infinite existence, consciousness, and bliss. To completely define Brahma is to limit it to the human world and understanding, and goes against its existence. The reason Hinduism is thought to be a polytheistic religion is because of the different deities worshipped. But deities are not gods, but personifications and forms taken on by the Brahman. Therefore, our deities are Brahman. The most well-known deities are Vishnu, Shiva, and the goddess. Vishnu is the all-pervasive force and created, protects, and transforms the universe. Vishnu is normally portrayed as a blue-skinned, jeweled male with 4 arms. Shiva, on the other hand, is known as the auspicious one and as the destroyer. Although Shiva creates, Shiva also destroys, protects, and conceals parts of the universe. Shiva is the force to be reckoned with. Shiva is normally represented as both male and female, with characteristics split down the center of the body, and has normally 3 eyes and matted hair. The goddess, on the other hand, is a shifting force without a set definition. She is thought to be the wife of Shiva by some, a warrior goddess by others, but by most a savior and a fearsome force. Her form varies from wearing a necklace made of skulls to wearing of furs, but normally carries an array of weapons. Other forms of these 3 main deities can be seen worshipped throughout India and the world, with individuals, families, and regions having their unique forms of Brahman to worship. The caste system of India divides the people into 5 social groups. The Brahmins are priests and teachers. The Kshatriyas are warriors and rulers. The Vaishyas are farmers, traders, and merchants. The Shudras are laborers, and the Dalits are untouchables. This separation of social classes are reinforced by the human religion, the Hindu religion, which is the most popular and oldest religion of India. The castes are formed by the division of Brahman, or the divine being's body, and where the soul of the person is created in the universe, and how many times they have been reincarnated. The teachers and priests come from Brahman's head, giving them intelligence and wisdom. The warriors and rulers come from his chest, giving them strength. The farmers, traders, and merchants come from Brahman's legs, giving them hard work. And the Shudras come from his feet, meaning they are the lowest. And the untouchables are a new caste and do not have a connection to Brahman's body and cannot be interacted with at all, or those who do will get bad reincarnations. Each person lives a life and respects their caste in hopes of being reincarnated into a higher caste in the next life. Roughly translated into English as religious duty, dharma is the responsibilities of an individual to respect, honor, and act upon the aspects of their life. This means honoring the rules and separations of their level in the caste system, acting their parts of their social class and activities required, honoring the stages of life, it being childhood, young adult, middle aged, or elderly, respecting and being committed to friendships, marriages, and family roles. Dharma can be defined as basic virtues people have, such as gratitude, nonviolence, compassion, and generosity. These morals and duties vary from person to person, social class to social class, and region to region. They are emphasized differently by different groups in different areas. Karma in Hindu's religion is the universe's balance and determines the individual's next reincarnation. Each human is a balance of good and bad, light and dark, nice and evil. Karma is the scale of these characteristics, actions, and thoughts are weighed on. Good karma means you get a better reincarnation. Bad karma means you get a bad reincarnation. Karma can also be carried over into new reincarnations and can be the price to pay for bad actions in previous lives. With karma being able to affect the outcome of reincarnation, good karma is sought after in hopes of the individual being reincarnated until they have reached nirvana or at least in higher levels of the caste system. Hindus do not believe in an afterlife like the Western religions, but instead believe in reincarnation. They believe the soul or Atman is a separate essence than the body and is not tethered to the earthly form. They believe once the body dies, the soul is reborn into another body. Through this process, people are always hoping to better themselves and to have the best karma possible. Good karma means a better life in the next reincarnation, and bad karma means a worse life in the next reincarnation. The soul does not remember the previous life once it has started over in a new body, although there are some cases where children remember their past lives, families, and children, although they usually lose these memories as they age. A common reincarnation desire is rising through the caste system. The castes of teachers, warriors, and merchants are most desirable and thought to have taken several reincarnations to reach. If you have done terrible things in past lives and deserve to be punished, you could go down levels in the caste system. The ultimate end goal of reincarnation is to reach nirvana. Nirvana is the ultimate peace level reached by those who have become self-aware through self-knowledge through several reincarnations. It is unknown how many reincarnations are required to reach nirvana, but it is the goal of Hinduism. Nirvana breaks the cycle of endless reincarnations, allowing the soul to never have to enter the earthly realm again. Instead, the soul connects and merges with Brahman, becoming an infinite part of the universe, and in a way, part of the Supreme Being. Next, for the belief of Buddhism. In Buddhist tradition, there is no origin story of the universe. There is no Supreme Being, no beginning, no creation, and no end. The universe exists and should not be questioned. It is said that when the Buddha was questioned about the origins of the universe, he refused to entertain the question. He taught his followers to entertain no question, that there is no way an answer could be provided. Do not question the beginning of the universe. Do not question its existence, and do not question when the end of the universe will happen. Instead, live in the moment. Ask questions that can be answered, and do not chase after knowledge you can never have. Siddhartha Gautama, born in 566 BCE, died 80 years later in 486 BCE. Siddhartha Gautama was born to a noble family of the warrior caste of India and is what is now the southern region of Nepal. When Siddhartha Gautama was conceived by his mother, Queen Maya, she dreamed of a white elephant painlessly entering her side. And when he was born, he leaped out the side of his mother, took 7 steps, and said, "I have been born to achieve awakening for the good of the world. This is my last birth." According to court sages, Gautama was born with wheels on his hands and feet, meaning he would be a wheel turner, which meant he would be a great king or religious teacher. For most of his early life, Siddhartha Gautama lived an ordinary life, got married, and even had a child. Born into nobility, Siddhartha Gautama lived an ordinary life until around the age of 30. He grew up, got married, and even had a child, all within the walls of his parents' home. Around this time, he saw past the palace's walls and gates for the first time. He saw an old man, a sick man, and a dead man. The old man taught Gautama that life was limited. The sick man taught Gautama of illness for the first time in his life. And finally, the dead man taught Gautama that not only was life limited, it had suffering and that always ended in death. These sights changed Siddhartha Gautama, making him realize the limits of life and shortness suffering brought in life. After these sights, Siddhartha Gautama saw a wanderer whose goal was to find the cause of human suffering. This man inspired Gautama, and Gautama took up a life of wandering and fasting. During this time of fasting, Siddhartha Gautama almost starved to death and decided this past to salvation was not the answer. He then developed the belief of the middle way of living, meaning allowing food and other enjoyments in moderation and to never overindulge. After wandering for a long time, Siddhartha eventually came to the foot of a Bodhi tree, where the demon Mara sent his daughters to seduce Gautama and his sons to scare him away. Siddhartha Gautama was not fazed by these attacks, and through meditation reached enlightenment at the base of this Bodhi tree. From this point on, Siddhartha Gautama became known as the Buddha, or awakened one. After this, the Buddha went on to teach 5 disciples his way of life, leading them to enlightenment as well. These disciples and the Buddha spread his message and way of life for the remainder of his time on earth. At the end of his life, at the age of 30, the Buddha gave one last message to his followers, laid down between 2 trees, and died peacefully. Upon his death, he reached nirvana and ended the countless cycles of reincarnation for his soul, which he predicted at his own birth. The religion of Buddhism was organized shortly after the death of the Buddha in 486 BCE with the First Buddhist Council. This council was formed by his devoted followers in order to spread his teachings and way of life. It organized all of his teachings into a central location. The religion of Buddhism does not have a worship supreme being. There is no divine force, no God or all-knowing one. Instead, Buddhism focuses on the way of life of the Buddha, the human. They do not worship the man. Instead, they aim to live as he did, to live a life in the middle way, meditate often, and find nirvana. After his death, the Buddha's body was cremated, with the ashes and other relics of his life being turned into different structures called stupas, which would go on to be the religious structures of Buddhism. Finally, the religion of Buddhism goes on to teach to live a life of the Eightfold Path. They encourage the right understanding, right thought, right speech, right actions, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Using these eightfold principles leads a person to be the best they can be. It teaches you to understand others' actions, to be careful of the way you think of the world around you, to choose your words carefully, to act with kindness to others, to live a good life like the Buddha did, to make good efforts in everything you do, to be mindful of others' decisions, and to have proper concentration during meditation. Dharma in Buddhism means cosmic law or truth, and is typically used to refer to the life the Buddha had lived. This is the correct way of life, following in his footsteps and proper actions. It is broken down into the 4 noble paths and the Eightfold Paths mentioned in the previous slide. The 4 noble paths are the knowledge of suffering that allow for enlightenment and awakening of an individual. Each of the 4 paths can be seen in the Buddha's life as follows. Dukkha, or the truth of suffering, can be seen in his observation of the old, sick, and dead man in the earliest stages of his life. These observations exposed him to the knowledge of suffering for the first time of his life. Samudaya, or the truth of the origin of suffering, came to the Buddha when he met the wanderer for the first time, and the wanderer taught him of the journey to find the origins of human suffering. Nirodha came to the Buddha when he first fasted and began his wandering journey and almost died of starvation. From this experience, he learned of the importance of enjoying food and the other actions in tolerance and to not completely shut out the world. Finally, the Buddha discovered Magga, or the truth of the path, when he reached awakening under the Bodhi tree after withstanding the attacks of the demon Mara and his children. Here he meditated and found the peace of life and his purpose. From then on, he spread his teachings. Buddhism puts a strong emphasis on the law of karma. In Buddhism, karma is seen as the universe's retribution for each action a person performs. Good actions are rewarded, bad actions are punished. Karma can dictate if a person lives an easy life in the next reincarnation, or if they suffer from the actions done of their past lives. Bad luck, bad characteristics, and hard times are thought to have been caused by bad karma in past lives, whereas promotions, positive outcomes, and good luck are thought to have been caused by past good karma. If someone does such bad actions, such as being a murderer, raping others, torture, or other terrible actions, they can be sent to be reincarnated into hell. Once in hell, you will be tortured and punished until you have paid back your bad karma, where once again, you will be reincarnated back onto the human world and rejoin your search for your final nirvana. Like Hinduism, Buddhism believes in reincarnation. They believe the humans are born and reborn infinite times before reaching nirvana in their soul's existence. The karma and good actions of a person's life affects their reincarnation. Good karma results in good reincarnation. Bad karma brings bad reincarnations. Buddhists also do not believe souls only reincarnate as humans. They can be reincarnated into deities, ghosts, animals, and in severe cases, they can be reincarnated into hell, where they will be punished for their bad karma. The ultimate end goal of each reincarnation is to let the soul eventually reach nirvana. Nirvana is the ultimate peace and oneness with the universe a person can reach after endless reincarnations. Nirvana happens in 2 stages. The first awakening and the final nirvana reached upon death. The first awakening is when the individual becomes self-aware and has no more earthly desires. The final nirvana is when the body dies and the soul is released from reincarnation because of karmatic balances of their life. Buddha's first awakening happening when he restored the tortures and torments of the demon Mara and his children below the Bodhi tree. Buddha reached peace through meditation and had no more earthly desires after that moment. His final nirvana was reached upon his death. He had achieved his soul's duty of spreading his way of life. He then lay down and died peacefully, his soul to never be reincarnated again. Unique to Buddhism is the concept that nirvana has to be maintained. If you do not remain at peace in your afterlife of nirvana, your soul could be forced to re-enter the reincarnation cycle again. Now I will compare and contrast the differences and similarities between Hinduism and Buddhism. Buddhism and Hinduism have several differences and several similar concepts. They have similar morals, similar creation stories, the belief of reincarnation, and several shared words. The morals shared are bettering yourself with each reincarnation. Your current life choices affect your next life, and that reincarnation cycle can be ended through nirvana. The shared words are dharma, karma, and nirvana. I will start by comparing these similarities. sorry about that. Both Hinduism and Buddhism developed in India, and Buddhist family was actually part of the Kshatriyas, or warrior and leader caste of the Indian caste system. Buddha's life was greatly influenced by the Hindu practices and was most likely raised around Hinduism. Buddhism actually borrows a lot of words and concepts from Hinduism, like reincarnation, basic morals of being kind to others, and the words like karma, dharma, and nirvana. Both believe in a similar afterlife. First, the soul is reincarnated a seemingly endless amount of times. Then once the individual becomes self-aware, knowledge, and morally worthy, they reach peace and nirvana, where they will eventually break the reincarnation cycle. Both Hinduism and Buddhism use the words karma, dharma, and nirvana. Both religions believe that karma and actions of current and past lives affect the outcome of your next reincarnation. Both use the words dharma to express the correct path an individual should take in their life. The goal of both religions is to eventually reach nirvana and break the endless cycle of reincarnation through peace and self-awareness. Although Buddhism and Hinduism do share several similarities, their differences outweigh the similarities. They differ on who is worshipped and how. Their origin stories are completely different. The age of each religion are separated by centuries, and Buddhism creates a more equal worship, while Hinduism has the caste system. They also differ on the meanings of the similar words like dharma, karma, and nirvana. Although both religions originated in India, they do not come from the same parts of India. Hinduism comes from the region around the Indus River, and Buddhism comes from the region that is now near Nepal. Hinduism is thought to originate in India around 3000 to 1700 BCE, where the Aryans settled around this river, bringing their religion with them. Hinduism has no clear, singular founder. The majority of its origins have been lost in history, and most historians cannot agree on where it came from, or if it even came from the Aryans at all. Buddhism is completely different. It was founded shortly after the death of Siddhartha Gautama in 486 BCE, although some claim it began with his birth in 566 BCE. The region Buddhism formed in is centralized around the area Siddhartha Gautama lived and died, with those instances having exact locations. Buddhism has a clear founder, the Buddha, a clear and precise location of origin, and an exact year the religion began. Hinduism and Buddhism have two completely different worships. Hinduism worships a supreme being called Brahman. It is a monotheistic practice. Their god Brahman takes on many forms and personifications called deities. These deities are worshipped by Hindus in a way to worship Brahman. The deity worshipped in place of Brahman varies from region to region, believer to believer, and family to family. Buddhists do not have a god, a central figure, or an all-knowing one. Instead, they have the Buddha, a human. Siddhartha Gautama was a normal human being who reached awakening to become known as the Buddha, and eventually reached enlightenment and nirvana. Buddhists do not worship the Buddha. Instead, they aim to live a life like he did, to achieve enlightenment, and to eventually break the cycle of reincarnation with obtaining nirvana. A major difference between Hinduism and Buddhism is the level of equality within the religion. Hinduism backs a caste system with religious beliefs, enforcing centuries-old inequalities. They back a system that separates social classes, gives hierarchy, and creates large social gaps. Although the caste system is now legally outlawed in India, it is still socially practiced. It is frowned upon for castes to intermarry, have friendships, or in cases of the untouchables, to even interact. The caste system has developed the new caste of untouchables later in history, and these individuals cannot even make eye contact with people of the higher caste. The caste system causes such a social divide and backed by religious reasonings. Buddhism, on the other hand, denounces the caste system and sees everyone as equal. There are no upper and lower class, no untouchables, and there is even gender equality in Buddhism. Finally, even though the religions share the same words of karma, dharma, and nirvana, they do not mean the same in both religions. Karma in Hinduism is the balance of good and evil within an individual. But in Buddhism, it is the actions that dictate how an individual's next reincarnation will be. Dharma in Hinduism is the religious duty one has to their social class, caste, family members, friends, marriages, and government. Dharma in Buddhism is the law of the universe and describes the best life someone can live and is normally focused around the aspects of the Buddhist life. Nirvana in Hinduism is where the soul or Atman has reached peace through endless reincarnation cycles and merges with Brahman, and in a way becomes part of the Supreme Being. Nirvana in Buddhism is different. It is the final peace a soul reaches after self-awareness and self-knowledge through several reincarnations. It is the break of the reincarnation cycle, allowing for an infinite peace within the universe. But if the soul does not maintain its peace, it could be forced to rejoin the earthly realm and start the reincarnation process all over again. Final thoughts. Although the two religions of Hinduism and Buddhism share similar base principles and terms, they are two very different religions. Yes, Buddhism came centuries after Hinduism, but does not worship a central god. It instead focuses on living a good life like the Buddha. Hinduism worships one god through several deities, not a human. Dharma to Hindus is the religious duty of the follower. Karma is the balance of good and evil actions, and nirvana is when the soul combines with the universe, reached only after several reincarnations. To Buddhism, Dharma is the law of the universe. Karma is the life a person lives determined by past reincarnations, and nirvana is the final peace of the soul, but is something that has to be maintained. In the end, though they share similarities, and Buddhism adapted several aspects of Hinduism, they remain two distinct religions. Finally, these are the references I used to create this PowerPoint. For further resources, please check out these books and websites. Thank you so much for watching my presentation. Thank you.